COE champion over everything.
Champion over everything.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of COE Champion Over Everything. Man, I got my brother with me today, man. One of the leader of the Beat Life Mentoring Movement, the leader of Juice Corp Fashion. Matt got so much going on, man. It's hard for me to keep up, really, man. I'm just gonna be straight up. Oh, he's the TikTok guru, man, and Matt is doing some exciting things for 2022. And Matt is part, we hosted and co-hosted, his Beat Life mentoring back in, what was it, 2020? In the height of the pandemic. I was able to come on as a co-host on a lot of episodes, and we just kind of wanted to get back together. We want to set the tone for the new year, of course. As you all have been listening, living a year of removing those limits, those boundaries from off of you. So having a limitless 2022. But this particular episode, we want to come from a standpoint of growth, branding, and presence on social media, as well as how you can grow and brand your business. So as always, Matt, we're going to start out with your champion story. Brother, we've never captured your actual champion story before, so the platform is yours.
Yeah. So long story, we're gonna make it short, man. Listen, I'm doing a book that helps explain this pretty much in 3 chapters of my life. So of course, I start with, high school, Mississippi boy, as y'all know, crooked letter gang. And then growing up, I think my first real round of success was in high school playing ball. And I always had this phase that you're going to see me go through and that you're going to see me talk about in so much stuff of how I scaled up. Because, of course, starting out playing ball, I was an okay player, but I wanted to be great. And how I figured out how to be great was, learning how to work at one thing that's next, while also getting very good, but not perfect in what I was doing at the time, and also being able to elevate the people in front of me. So I did that in ball, man. I worked out more days than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I had a trainer when people didn't have a trainer, and it worked out pretty good for me. And then that chapter of my life closed. And a few years later, I ended up going into ministry. And it was the same thing. So I went through these rounds of promotion in ministry, you know what I'm saying, going from one level all the way from being an armor bearer to becoming a youth pastor to stepping into an administration role in the ministry with multiple campuses. I was working with 3 campuses, so was able to elevate that, in that ministry realm, after I changed my life around in that 2011, 2012 time. And then from there, you can have ministry, you can have a past. So, I was known in the city. It's hard for me to go in the city in Hattiesburg, you know what I'm saying, where I'm from, and people don't know me, So I had a following. Right. And then I also had, okay, I'm in ministry, so I was working a purpose. But the thing I didn't have, I ain't had no money. I said, okay. So, had married my wife, my beautiful wife in 2013, Cassandra Naylor, got 2 boys, Bidgie and Kai. I'm also an autism dad, so being in that world is like, okay, you got to figure something out. So I started getting kind of into sales, started out selling flooring and going from there, really learned design, because I had always been into graphic design since I was in high school. I used to be an art head my whole life growing up. So that ended up coming into the graphic side, and which was crazy. One of the things I did in ministry was I was the media engineer. So I helped, create all things media. So that transferred over when I was selling the flooring. Also being known and always talking to people, having what they call the gift of gab. I was able to get my next job, which was at R&R Tires. And I think everybody remember, and I was crazy, I only did it for a year. but it's still people today riding on their rims and being able to tell people they got them from me.
That's what's
So
up.
that was my way to kind of bring such a hip hop culture, which you'll see and so many people can see a lot from me in my background and my love for that. We was able to have that and that on our world. Then I finally got into the wireless industry, which took me to my biggest place that I had ever been. And that was about 4 years ago from now in 2022. So got into that as a rep. And note, when I got to this job, all the previous jobs I was fired from. I want to make sure I put that out there. I was fired from for no matter one reason or another. And when I got this job, it came with an extra motivation of, okay, I got to figure something out because I need some elevation and I need some stability. The same way I had it when I was playing ball, the same way I had it when I was in ministry. So got into sales, blew up, man, really put a lot of emphasis into making some things happen. In that world, I went through 3 promotions, man, 3 promotions in 2 years. We're from assistant manager, relocated after that to being a store manager. Brand new store, was the headquarters of our Gulf Coast district, took that all the way up to some of the top rankings, man, and amazingly became a DM, one of the quickest, fastest rising people to ever become a DM. I ran the largest territory for any indirect sprint, 3 states. Became really successful in that. Reg know that, he came and, got in that lane and got some of that work and was able to see that culture that we had a really great time, man, in that culture, and worked all the way up. I remember us talking about it. What's crazy, this next move, I remember us talking about it and me telling you in the parking lot, man, God told me that he can do it again. Mid-pandemic, talking about he can do it again. And he did. So I got another relocation, from some buyout things that happened and ended up in Dallas, came to a more lucrative market. Finished my career with them with that company in wireless and said, listen, God came to me and said, listen, this is what I want you to do. He was like, listen, everything you undid up until this point was successful, but you did it wrong. I said, oh, okay. That's a little bit of a surprise, but what we got? So he said, listen, I want you to do it again. I want you to scale up again. I want you to build a business again. He reaffirmed me that he was like, it's still your season. But what I want you to do is I want you to pick up and I want you to do the same thing. And I want you to do it now in your own business. He came to me and told me that it was time to do the book. He came to me and told me that it was time to get back into the social media world and mix those 2 gifts of being able to coach, which people see me do in the wireless industry, the ability to market, which people see me do in R&R, people see me do as a rep, and the ability to do graphics, which was a love and an art that came up. And all that today is the social media world. So that is my prime thing people see now. Like I said, you got the merch shop, and of course, it was always dripping. We was always dripping, we was always fresh. So people seeing me do that with our wireless industry company, being an ambassador for them. And so now I put all of those worlds to where I can see those streams of income. And even in being a husband, being a father, even in that level, scaling up. So now I'm out here in the DFW living that life of what some people would consider to be their dream. You know what I'm saying? But I consider it to be the perfect place for development. We've literally developed in every way to get to the place where we are now. And I make it my business to share, to coach, to encourage, and to empower people to do that same thing with the story of their life.
That's what's up, man. And as always, y'all, Mac, he drops off some big gems and some underlying principles as far as scaling up that we kind of want to talk about today. Really the first one's going to be principles, because as he shared his champion stories, those principles that he learned through sports help guide him to the next 3 areas, right? The next 3 areas are going to be his passion, what he learned through those principles, what he was passionate about and gifted in high school is helping him to be a social media guru right now. And then profession. And then the last thing is promotion. So scaling up, starts with those 4 things: principles, your passion, your profession, and then promotion. And you never know how what you're doing. I remember Cat Williams said a joke a while back. Back in the day, we had the slaves out there in the field and they were picking cotton. And the more they pick, it started over the years, those skills started turning to something else. As you pick on this side, you pretty much end up dribbling that basketball and you becoming a basketball player. So you get what I'm saying? So a lot of times we don't realize as we navigate throughout life and as we are developing our champion story, that a lot of times God is already positioned. He's already positioned us to pick up those skills that we're gonna need later on in life. And if you don't believe me, going back to principles, look at David in the Bible. David was already out there taking care of sheep, right? And then when the sheep started to get attacked, God had already given him everything that he needed in order to protect those sheep. So when he got ready to fight Goliath, he was like, look, I've already been through this before. I've been out here killing lions and bears and all this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm about to do to this dude. So that's the same principle. So making sure that we have some fundamental principles. Matt, pretty much he threw that term out as far as scaling. And Matt, I want you to talk about that aspect and the blueprint, because you wouldn't be able to scale at this new level if you didn't have that blueprint from that previous level. So brother, break that down for us.
So I've always been able to have it, like I say, from high school, and it really broke down for a few things for me. And I want to be really specific when I say this. Number one, you got to find a mentor. I always knew that you got to be under somebody who can give you what you ain't got to go through. And a lot of time we look at, I got to go through this, I got to go through that, and we say experience is the best teacher, but I always like to challenge people and be like, it's the best teacher, but it's also not the most efficient one. And sometimes it can be time consuming. So one of your best things to have is somebody who has already been through it, where experience is the best teacher for them, and let them teach you. So I always make sure, number one, that I got a mentor in whatever it is that I do. And I also make sure, and I can put this with that I'm a student. So you got to be a student to whatever you do, and especially if you want to scale, because the different levels that you're going to go through is really just the different levels of education that you're going through. You know what I'm saying? You go from grade to grade, you know what I'm saying? And that entire time you're getting smarter, but every grade is a different level. It comes with different challenges, but you get different advantages because of what you learn. So I knew I had to be a student. I knew I had to have a mentor. And I also knew in that study, I knew I had to find out what it took. So in scaling, you got to find out what it takes. And you got to be able to know, okay, if it takes this, what can I give, and what opportunity sits here for me? So when you first start out, you may only have a couple hours a day. You have to make sure that you get some type of production out of that, because as you're getting that production is going to buy you more time. And with the more time, you can put more into it. So that's the thing that people got to know, some of the basics when it comes to scaling up, and even scaling up in business. I was actually telling them something today. I put it on my Twitter and put it on my Facebook, is that whenever you want to fund something, if you got something that you want to do, that's going to be an investment. That investment is going to take some type of funding, whether it's time, whether it's intention, whether it's education. To be able to do that, you have to create the time, the education, the funding to do it. So you got to know, especially in entrepreneurship, I want to create this. Usually what you can do when it comes to business, you can create a service from what you do that helps you do that. That is one of the geniuses of when it comes to scaling up. I want to take this to another level. What time and education can I put into this? Okay, this is what my investment is. How can I pay for this? I use something I already have to go and make that for me. That's how, like they say, making your money make money for you. But definitely get you a mentor, definitely become a student and find out what it is that it can take. And then just manage that time and that resource so that you can take it to another level.
Got you. All right, so looking at what Matt is skilled to do, what he's passionate about. Matt has Beat Life. He has a group to where you can kind of join in. He'll bring you in, and he's doing some amazing things. He has some amazing seminars that are playing, conferences that are playing throughout this year. Almost every month, he's welcoming people in for you to learn. So what we're going to give y'all today is just a snippet of what he's going to be teaching throughout these conferences and seminars. But the first thing, we talking about branding. And a lot of times, Matt, people don't understand that you have your own personal brand. Like you mentioned back in high school and what you did throughout the years and work, people knew who you are, right? So if they saw you, even after you left R&R, they saw you out in public, they can still speak to your brand of superiority and customer service and making sure that you're going above and beyond. Like, man, back in the day when I used to deal with him, I knew his character. I knew who he was. So as he transitioned throughout his profession, though, that branding still carried on. So, Matt, let's talk about branding when it comes down to your business, when it comes down to social media, and then when it comes down to just you personally.
Yeah, so everybody has and is a brand because everybody is known for something. If you exist, you're known in some type of way. The world is shaped for you to be known. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, I learned in high school I had a brand. I learned when I was at no, I had a brand. When I was selling the floor, and I had a brand because I knew it was based on building the name. And from there, you had to be specific. So, and branding, this is the thing people got to understand. The specifics to branding may put you in a category, but the lack of specifics, the in general, is you. So there's Matt Naylor. That Matt Naylor is a brand. Now from that, you got Juice Corp, that's specific. From that, you got Beat Life, that's specific. You know what I'm saying? From that, you got Matt from Mississippi, that's specific. So that's nothing but a outlet from this major brand, which is me, that I'm able to go over here and create. You have to look at yourself in a sense like Microsoft. Microsoft has multiple companies that you may know or may not know that they produce. The same thing with Google. From Google, what do you have? Whether they put their name on it or not, you got Google Maps. You know what I'm saying? Then you got some stuff they don't put their name on. You got YouTube. You know what I'm saying? YouTube is an extension of Google. You got Gmail. You know what I'm saying? A whole emailing service. And your brand is just like what you were saying. It's what you're known for. It's what you're known for. So a lot of time when people think branding, you got to be careful in what you put out. And a lot of time you have to know what boxes to put it in, and box your talents. And a lot of time, I'll tell you the biggest thing people do wrong with branding. We take on sometimes too much of a socialistic mind. Like we look at what they say. We look at what is the social norm. But brands stand alone. You know what I'm saying? They are the stores along the street of socialism. So when you think in the world of social, that's people walking up and down the sidewalk. That's people driving up and down the street. Of course, they going the same way. Of course, they walking. Of course, they wearing. But what are you wearing? You should be wearing Juice Corp. So I didn't make Levi's. I made Juice Corp. You know what I'm saying? Because Levi's was there. But let me give you Juice Corp. You got all different type of teachings and stuff that you can take. But it's that Beat Life as well. So, okay, yeah, where you learn that from? Oh, I learned that from Beat Life. I learned that from being in the unit. You know what I'm saying? So you got TikTok, you got multiple pages. But where did you get this joke from, man? I got that from Mississippi, man. You know, we stay talking about Mississippi stuff over there. Oh, I learned this about Mississippi from over there. Where did people get it from? And did they get it from you? So a lot of times you have to take all these characters and characteristics and traits of yourself and put it somewhere and put a label on it. But no, that's just an extension of you. You can't take it too personal. You can't get too much of your feelings, emotion mixed into it. You have to make sure that you say, okay, I understand that I'm a brand. I got certain things that I will do and won't do because of the brand. I got certain things I only do on certain platforms. Because what? Because that's the brand. Listen, you want to do that with me? We can do that over there. Why? Because that's where that brand, you can be seen with that. But listen, if you want to do this, what we got to do this over here. Why? Because that's where that brand can be seen at. And whatever you do, you want it to be attached to a brand because that's how you can monetize. And that's what the world of social media and stuff is going into. And I know we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But if you want to be able to monetize yourself, you got to create something that's tangible for people to be able to have. You know, we've gone from the world of business cards to the world of social media. And never before did we think a business card can turn into a website that could turn into a social media page that could literally be paying you. So there's a lot of benefits in this world of the gifts we've already been given. You just got to brand it, baby. You got to brand it.
So with branding comes presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
People being synonymous with certain terms, people thinking, you know, for champion over everything. The goal is no matter who I bring on the show, if we do an interview with that person and they bring up the word champion, immediately it refers back to champion over everything. No matter what you go through in life, you can conquer and you can, you know, develop your skills, so to say, to aspire to inspire others to do better today than they did on yesterday, right? When you look at Juice Corp, when you look at Beat Life, you know, those branding is still synonymous with Matt, right? And what he's created. But ultimately, like you said, it comes down to presence. And you just kind of spoke to this, and I really kind of want to take a brief dive into it. Using different platforms for different things, right? I know in a conversation we had earlier this week, we mentioned we really don't put a lot of content out on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the professional, you know, end all be all for professionalism and the business. But even on LinkedIn, if you brand yourself properly, you can gain more in the business world. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna use me as an example, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Matt. I remember back in 2018, I was going through some stuff at work. I was working at C-Spire at the time, and it was just a lot, you know, a lot that was going on. Nothing that I did wrong, but I had some arrows that were coming at me. And a friend of mine, she stopped in and she was talking to me, and she used to work for one of our competitors, and she had recently left. And she said, "Reggie, how's your LinkedIn profile?" I said, "What do you mean?" She was like, "You got a LinkedIn profile?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." She was like, "Go update it." I updated it. In the midst of me updating it, a couple of weeks later, I was reached out and recruited by Samsung. And I'm talking about Samsung, who make the phones, y'all. I was recruited by Samsung to come work for them. I interviewed, months went by, didn't hear anything from them. I was at that breaking point at work to where I was ready to just throw in the towel. And God just said, hold on for a little bit longer. Went through a couple of issues as far as family members passing away. My brother was in a real bad car accident. And life pretty much was just happening to me. And this is, you know, where that champion over everything comes into. Being able to keep push no matter what was going on. And I never forget, I took a whole week off, went to go spend time with my brother and help him because he was going through a rehabilitation period. And that week I made it back to work, I got a call from Samsung. And it was all because of my branding on LinkedIn. my personal resume and what I was doing and not doing. And I think a lot of times people forget that the different platforms are created, and I really don't want to say created for different things, but they essentially are. You can't have the same type of conversations on Facebook that you can on LinkedIn, that you can on Twitter, that you can on Instagram, that you can over here on TikTok, right? So Matt, speak to presence, because people call you the TikTok king, the TikTok guru, but speak to presence as it revolves around that branding aspect.
Yeah. So the first thing when you say presence, and I love that, the first thing you got to do is you got to more than exist. And a lot of times we just exist. The profile is there. But in the layers that we're going, if you don't have a brand, even if you have the brand now, I would like to say, if there's no marketing, there is no brand. Like, you can't create a brand department without a marketing department. And your brand department usually is your marketing department. Whoever first helped establish the brand, usually guess what area of the business they work in? Marketing. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to be able to get it out there. Marketing is nothing more but taking the brand and giving it to people. And that's where you establish that presence. Like, it's in the same format of what we've been talking about, and taking that and applying that principle to business. You want to get if you want to get on LinkedIn, you need a mentor. Now you're going to say, well, do I have to have somebody personally to it? No, you go and follow some people who do exactly what you want to do, or who do similar to what you want to do, because it may not exist yet. And you say, I'm gonna follow these people and I'm going to see how they do it. Make sure it's people who open, make sure, and maybe all of them may not be, because they may be large celebrities, right? But you want to, and that's where scaling come in at. You want somebody that's close to the level right above you. You want somebody that's really big. So now you can see the top height and you can see that mid-range, that range that you can get to. So now you got some goals. Okay, I know this is the space that the platform has created for me to get in. And then I know this is the ultimate space that they would allow me to get to unless I go above that. So in having that, you got to watch them people and see what they do. You can see what works. This, like, once again, helps you not to, do so much trial and error. So now that you can see that, you have to take what you know and what you experience and put it out there. That's your presence. You got to show up. You got to show up. Presence matches with engagement. You got to show up. And engagement, the only reason why engagement is after presence is engagement is in a sense a reaction. You know what I'm saying? Even if you do a call to action post on social media, you can't do no engagement until somebody says something back. But how do I get to where I can even do engagement? Where I'm finding the people, where I'm finding a tribe, where I'm finding a community. You have to make sure that you have a presence. You know what I'm saying? And you got to respect the content's level of presence. A lot of people argue and cry about algorithms, but what they don't do is get on to themselves about their presence. TikTok has one of the weirdest algorithms that it is in the world. But to those of us who benefit from it, we will tell you that it's one of the best. Because we would tell you that nowhere can you get this amount of followers or this amount of views this fast, because they pumping it out rally style. They rolling. You know what I'm saying? Well, Instagram say you're gonna have to work for it. Well, Facebook say, listen, we're gonna just keep you in your network of people that you know. That's what we built it for. That's what you got. Listen, where other platforms or other avenues say you got to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Where YouTube say you got to keep finding more people to watch it. You got to keep finding more people to comment. One of YouTube's secrets. You want to grow your YouTube? Get people to comment. But the predominant thing you got to do is have a presence. You got to show up, because nobody likes the NFL player that you never see play. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you play. I don't care much for LeBron if every time I turn a Laker game on, he ain't playing, because now he is hurting the brand of the Lakers. So you got to support your brand by making sure that you are there. You know what I'm saying? Even if it exists, you got to bring it on. Listen, what do we love about our favorite TV shows? Is when you show up. And listen, we got the TV show, then we got the characters. Listen, James St. Patrick was a character on Power. His presence made some of us come every week. So listen, And Power being on Stars, Power Presence made us come to Stars every week. So if you really want to support your brand, you got to show up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. Like on TikTok, get what I show up. I'm gonna be on a live. Listen, I'm gonna do 3 posts a day. Listen, when I want to go viral, I'm gonna do 9 posts that day. And some people be like, man, you really finna post 9 times if I want this 100,000 views? Because my presence has to be out there for what this engine calls for. In Instagram, you got to be on the reels. Why? Because Instagram is saying what we finna show everybody, what we finna push down their throats. Listen, is the reels. So if your presence ain't there, you ain't getting your cut. But if you really want to make sure that your brand stands out, you have to have that presence. And your presence simply has to be, you got to show up for your brand. You got to show up for your company. You got to show up for your community.
And at the end of the day, y'all, you know, if we can sum that up into one word, consistency. And you know, as Matt gets ready to do the conferences that he'll be doing, he's gonna share the breakdown, going back to the algorithm. He's gonna share the breakdown per each platform on what the science behind what you can do to grow those platforms. That's gonna eventually grow your brand, grow your company, you know, and grow your following. Because he just kind of gave out a tidbit, you know, with Facebook and with YouTube, and how you have to hit certain parameters before you get to this one word, monetization. That's the end all be all, right? You know, now Champion Over Everything is created. We're not even in that realm of monetization. We're in the realm of inspiring others. However, we're bringing guests on from different avenues in life, different backgrounds, that will tell you different ways to monetize what you're currently doing. And this is, you know, going to be an important conversation going forward for the social media aspect, because a lot of times, you know, just think about it. How often are y'all actually watching live TV now to where y'all seeing commercials? Not that much. You probably streaming a lot. You're probably on your phone through social media a lot. And you're going to start seeing those personalized ads based on the things that you're searching. So the more that you're searching, the more that people are out there searching your particular brand, they're going to start seeing your content appear in their feeds. So Matt, you know, we want to talk about a little bit, touch just a little bit on monetization and how it relates to branding.
Yeah. So I'm going to even give away a secret in this, because I want to make sure I give away some good plug for my partner over here, so that y'all can have, because you ain't gonna get what I finna say almost nowhere else. So when you think of branding, a lot of time, even in what we've talked about, is your own brand. We've talked about, oh, I got Juice Corp, I finna put it on, I finna show it to people so people can buy it, so I can get that direct money. Let me tell you something. There's a world in social media that is bigger than that Instagram themselves is opening up to, that some of us, we've already always knew about. Some of us have always made this money, but there's so much more money that it's going to be able to make. Listen, if you can establish a presence, your presence is even more important than you establishing a brand. Listen, this is why. Say I don't have a brand. Say I don't have merch. Say I don't have nothing to sell. I ain't got no product. If I got presence, and presence usually, if I got presence, and then I can get me some engagement, listen, and if I got engagement, that's going to develop into followers and community. If I got that and there's an engine, all I got to do is get into this race that I can win. Sometimes you got to get into a race that you know you can win. It ain't got nothing to do with ownership. And I love ownership now. But sometimes to get yourself to a certain place, especially when it comes to monetization, you have to forsake ownership to go get the money to be able to fund yourself, or to go and create the freedom of time. This is how you do that, especially when it comes to Instagram.
All right, y'all, listen up. This is the tip. Listen up. Catch this.
when you click in your Instagram now, especially your notifications at the top, it says monetization and branding. It's not talking about your brand. It's talking about the other major brands. Instagram, while they've been building this, they went to Hidden Valley. They went to Lay's. They went to every company and said, listen, it was a person that, guess what? He worked in marketing and outdoor sales, but he wasn't coming to you. He was going to major companies. He was sending emails. He was talking to them saying, listen, I need you to do two things: create an Instagram page, listen, and I need you to have a social media manager to, guess what, put some presence on it. So Lay's, you exist in the real world. I need you to exist over here. Listen, Hidden Valley, you exist in the real world. I need you to exist over here. Levi's, I need everybody to exist on Instagram. Now that they have that, if TV has been switched to live streaming, has been switched to being able to stream from your phone, they want you to have more access. We need you to watch it. And people now are watching a little less because they on social media a lot more. What is it that you need to be doing instead of being just a consumer? You need to be being a producer. A producer for what? Hidden Valley. You need to be putting up content where you got, listen, you need to be putting up content where you talking about something you love, but I'm like, man, listen, I don't know who else I don't know what you use, but I use degree. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never, listen, for everything I do, for all the work that I do, I'm running up and down in Dallas, listen. And if you ain't got degree on, listen, I don't know what you got on, listen. And I'm posting that right there. I'm posting that. Listen, I'm posting, listen, I'm posting, I'm talking and I'm talking about, I'm talking about men. I'm men this, men that, you know what I'm saying? Women think men toxic, but what am I doing the entire time? I got a beard comb that would have a brand right here by it. So, and guess what? I'm tagging them in that post. And in the middle of that somewhere, I'm gonna say, listen, that's why you ain't got no bearded man, because listen, you ain't got no Urban Nights, man. Urban Nights is a beard product. You know what I'm saying? Beard product company. I can send it. Listen, I can now instantly make this video, tag them in it. If they like it, they approve it. And now the more that video is used, they have to pay me. Not even if they push it. If I push it and the more people who see it, once they approve it, they got to pay me because I put their product in it.
Hey, so hold on. Let's stop right there for just a second. Because there's going to be a listener or viewer who's going to say, what you advertising for free? How do I get to that point to where I go from free advertisement to where that company is actually going to pay me for what I'm doing? Can you speak to that for just a minute?
Yeah, so that's what Instagram has made it easy for us in. So you have this feature where you can tag contributors and add branding. Instagram is doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Also, TikTok, a lot of platforms, they are doing their job by making it accessible to you. Twitter is even on it now. A lot of people are missing, but y'all need to go jump on Twitter. Look, LinkedIn finna do it. You need to be on LinkedIn. Create the presence. Listen, you're already always on your phone. Create this presence so you can be able to catch this. But it's specifically in Instagram, which is going to be one of the leaders and one of the pioneers of this. When you're posting, you go down to branded content, you go and add the company. That's all you got to do. These folks do not have to know you. They like that. That deletes a department for them. You know what I'm saying? They got a person now that was once a part of the social media team that's now a part of ad, marketing, and PR together, a whole new department that looks at it and says, oh, I like this video. Let me send this to my manager. The manager approves it. Boom. Now you are getting paid for it. And you got to understand to the person who would think, oh, I'm doing this for free. You consuming the content for free. You do a lot of things for free. You know what I'm saying? But listen, you got to pay the cost in taking the chance on yourself. You got to pay the cost of doing your homework so that you will know what you can get paid on. Because all the stuff that can make money that you're objective against is probably a 1 to 3 step process that you just ain't never took up time to look up. And that's why you don't make that money.
Hey, so let me ask you this, man. Would you say for the person that's already has a presence out there on social media, if a brand reached out to them and said, hey, we love what you're doing. We can't pay you right now. Do you mind putting our brand out there a little bit more? What type of advice would you give? Would you tell them like, yeah, don't, forego the money and still put it out there, or don't deal with it? What would you tell them?
Yeah, because listen, exposure is money. So I'm taking the deal. Listen, in this season, take every deal that doesn't take ownership from you. Every deal that come that you are comfortable with doing, take all of them. It don't matter. When it come to dollar amount, get every dollar. Because that's what those of us who are hustling at the most ultimate extent, that's what we doing. You ain't rich enough to say no. So you got to stop playing yourself. And a lot of time people overvalue nothing. You know what I'm saying? You overvaluing a department that you can't even fund yet. You know what I'm saying? Which is your PR department. Listen, the only part of my PR department that I have is my morals. That's it. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. But listen, it can be a product that I don't even use normally. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? I've been making a joke, but helping somebody talk about chicken broth. Listen, there's almost nothing I eat with chicken broth. But I have been telling people, listen, if you want to do a thirst trap, pour chicken broth on yourself. And they said, you is lying to me. I said, pour it on yourself and show them the bottle. Listen, go put it on Instagram, tag the company, and watch what happens.
I'm gonna have to try that. So since we're talking about branding, we're talking about presence, we're talking about ideally, sponsorship. We got to take a break and hear from our sponsors.
41E.
Yeah.
60127 1633.
Take that.
Smoking Charlie's Barbecue. 41E.
Smoking Charlie's.
So good.
Come on now.
So good.
Champions, I hope y'all enjoying this week's episode of the COE podcast. But we got to take a quick break to acknowledge our sponsors. Aspire Pure, a premium ionized alkaline 9.5 pH plus water. That's a mouthful right there. That has a proprietary UV and ozone treatment to give you the smoothest and purest taste with every bottle. When I say smooth, I mean smoother than even me. So check out their website, www.aspirapura.com, and use the code COE10 to get 10% off your order. That's Aspire Pura.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for taking a quick break with us to acknowledge our sponsors for this week's episode of the COE podcast. And man, Matt, I gotta ask this, man. You're doing some amazing things. You have a conference that's coming up this month as well as next month. Speak to that. Speak how that conference can help people that's pretty much just looking to grow overall.
So what we do a conference every month. I gear up, and what I've been saying is there's so much to learn. So every month we do a conference via Zoom, where I come on and I teach people the principles that we've been working on for that month, and we put some specific how-tos in there. For the month of January, what I did was decided to teach everybody how to have their own merch conference, because I know so many people who say they don't have their own business. So what I do is I take out an hour and 30 minutes and I say, listen, get a ticket. For this instance, the silver ticket, which is the basic entry, is $50. Choose. So if you take $50, you get in that Zoom and you get on there, and I teach you from top to bottom how to have your own merch shop, website, listen, where to get your vending from, the whole nine. When you are done, listen, when it's over, you can sell. Now, it's a few things that you need, of course, beyond that. And I offer services for that. So you can get one-on-ones. I start community groups off of the conference. So whether it's using the unit, which is the social media and branding one, from this one, we're going to start a merch shop conference for people to get in there and find out what they need to do. And so a thing that I'm going to help is every month I'm going to have these conferences that help you with whatever the last conference was. So how in January, how we're doing the merch shop. Throughout February, you're going to see me do conferences for a little less price, bundles, of course, that you can get in on, where I teach you how to do ads. So I say, okay, you want to take it to a next level, this is the next thing that you need to do. How I teach you how to elevate and do extreme designs. So when you say, okay, I got this one design, I made some money from it, so I teach you how to do that. And the benefit of it is whatever I do, you are able to scale it. In December, we talked about all the different platforms that you could be on. You know, now people are able to, okay, I know how to do LinkedIn now. I'm okay, I'm getting associated with Instagram. You know, I'm rocking TikTok. And now that people are rocking those, I bring back another conference around for that. So we have one major one every month that you can find on all my platforms inside of my link tree. The website is coming back in February. So beatlife.com will be back up in February where you guys can see all this on one platform. Until then, you got it on social media where you can get in there and get you a ticket. And like I say, we have one major conference. The one for January is creating your own merch shop. So if you've never had a business, you can start your own business. And then we're going to have these mini sessions. Some of them are even free. So the benefit of sticking around my content is I do pop-up Zooms. You know, also being in the group. I do a Zoom for the group every Tuesday, where actually right now we are talking about branding. So some of them people are getting the secrets and the trades right now by being in that group. By the time the merch shop conference come, the people who are going to probably be best at it are the people who had got in the group, and now they are able to get that discount conference ticket, come to the conference and get that major fact, but they're able to get them few keys every Tuesday as well because they're in the group and they get to ask those daily questions by being in the community.
That's what's up. And as y'all know, you know, Champion Over Everything, we do not just bring anybody on. The people that we bring on are experts in the field or have worked under experts in the field. And you know, to Matt is definitely a student of life and getting out there and finding out what he can learn and getting plugged into some key people. You know, we got to bring up Dr. Eric Thomas because you know, you were fortunate enough to be able to be a mentee under Dr. Eric Thomas. And for those who don't know Dr. Eric Thomas, shame on you. Get out there on YouTube. Y'all look him up. And then also the sister Nikki Sanders. You know, and one thing about Nikki, you know, she is putting out some content over on Instagram, and I've heard a few Clubhouse interviews that she's done, but definitely on Instagram, in which she comes on almost nightly and gives some free game. And these are experts in the field of just growing your business, motivation, and just engineering your life to be better than what it's supposed to be, right? So, you know, brother, I commend you for seeking out and getting out there connected with those two big powerhouses in the game. And we got to talk about this. We can't just talk about where we are right now, but we got to talk about what's coming, what's up and coming, and what's on the horizon for the future. And a lot of times I think we miss out on our opportunities. You know, last year, top of the year, you know, everybody was real big in the stock market. I won't say everybody because some people missed out, but there were people that were in the stock market at the top of the year in January. They were able to make millions of dollars off of a fraction of the cost in investing from what they did in November and in December. So Matt, I know one of the big things that's coming out right now is NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And I don't know that much about it. So help me help our audience just to kind of speak briefly to NFTs, because I know this is something that you're going to talk about in one of your upcoming conferences. And we want y'all to sign up for that. So Matt, speak to that, brother.
Yeah, so NFTs is, in short, man, is real estate and ownership. Real estate and ownership. So I think one of the biggest ones that we was able to hear about was Tory Lanez, man. Tory Lanez got with a company and dropped the album and did $1 million in a night. Did $1 million in a night because he sold the albums. Listen, $1 a piece to 1 million people. Listen, and only those people have had that album. And listen, what they were able to do after that is sell it. So it's creating more property. You know, they feel like, you know, the world that we live in, you got physical property for physical bodies, but with the amount of consumption that is in the network today, that is on our phones, you should be able to own some type of property and space that's out there too. One of the biggest things coming with NFTs is the change that we see every time we log into Instagram, and at the bottom it says accompanied by Meta. So understanding that Facebook, who now owns Instagram, changed their name to Meta, which really is a play on property itself. So to help you with NFT, so some people say, why they changed their name? This is another exclusive because I haven't heard anybody say this anywhere. They changed it for copyright. So Meta, it was in the metaverse is actually a universal term. Microsoft is doing it. Amazon is working on a version of it. Google is doing it. So the metaverse is already out there. And who better than a brand to say, listen, we already own the name Facebook. Let's go on and try to be first. We already working to be first. Let's go own the word Meta. So they technically own the branding of the word when it comes to Meta by changing the company to Meta. So that's a play right there by itself. And in this NFT world, and I know I'm kind of getting into the metaverse, which is both, and I'm gonna bring them together. In the metaverse, what you're going to be able to do is have this sim type world. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, you go here, the first thing I want you to be able to do is get over the conspiracies. So they're going to be there, but you have to manage what you put your life into, either way it go. As long as you are doing that and holding to your morals, you'll be okay. But the stuff go exist. And then the metaverse is going to be this world of like Sims. So you'll be able to have an avatar. They already been introducing us to avatar. Snapchat started it first, you know, with your Bitmoji. You know, Apple did it with giving us an emoji that you can use on your phone. And then Facebook came along and said, well, let's try this and see how this works. They have been watching these apps like the app IMVU. They have been watching these apps and these different apps that people have been consuming major time in this little universe, just like the sim game. So you'll be able to just create you a little person, an avatar. You can go around and do stuff. Why NFTs is so important to this world is that you can sell things that you own. Actually, what's crazy is in the metaverse, you can go buy property like real estate. So I'm looking right now to find on one of the websites that is third party selling this property. But like I know, shout out to my guy. I was listening to his interview with Nikki and Moose the other day, Wall Street Trapper, and he was telling how he went and bought you know, $38,000 real estate, you know what I'm saying, in the metaverse. And it's a blank canvas, just like everything else. It's blank. And now all you got to do is get you a WebEx or a WebMD person to get on there and be able to create something on top of it. So those of y'all who've even been on a higher level of graphic design, or you've been looking into getting into it, if you're going into college, that's a good 4-year degree to get into is graphics and design. And when a program pops up or a course pops up to be able to teach you that, take it. All those y'all who tech savvy, take that course because you'll be able to buy, develop, and build that real estate to put a store on it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the things I'm working on is having the Juice Cup store in the metaverse, because that's another way for me to make money that I don't have to worry about the physical product. I don't have to worry about if the shipping gets worse. I don't have to worry about shipping nothing to you. All I got to do is let you go and buy it, and your Bitmoji person can wear it, and your sim character in this metaverse world can wear it. But NFTs is just sharing that ownership, and it's going to be something you're going to see people use more, artists and rappers use more. So prepare yourself to get to this level and be first in it. You know, whether you're on the ownership side or whether you're on the selling side, when it comes down to marketing.
All right, so as Matt has talked about the metaverse, I know one of the big things that I've been reading and a little bit that I know, I told you I don't know that much about it, I'm still learning, is that a lot of what you're going to do with those NFTs are going to be blockchain based. It's going to be coin based, token based. So getting involved in those, whether it's crypto.com or some kind of way that you can go out there and you can buy some form of token, because each company is using a different one, whether it's going to be Ethereum, whether it's going to be Bitcoin, whether it's going to be Dogecoin, whatever it may be, it's going to start there. And you want to get in early. There are some companies that's out there for pennies on a dollar right now that's looking to grow, and they're going to be the main source of these NFTs. Speaking to those NFTs, man, you know, and the avatars, being able to get out there and find the ones that you like, it might cost a pretty penny. I know for this company that I did look into, I can't remember the name of the company itself, but they had some pretty fresh avatars, man, and they wanted one Ethereum coin. And when you break their price down, actually they want a fraction of an Ethereum coin, because when you break their price down, it came out to be like $2,000 to $3,000, and I was like, nah. Nah, not just for my avatar. Look, I'm gonna get with somebody creative. I'm gonna get with Matt, and we'll create our own avatar and then resell it. But you know, that's what's on the future horizon, and that's something that we gotta be mindful of, especially as we engage in this metaverse, in this social community world, so to say. But Matt, speaking of engagement, how can people follow you, and how can people get in contact with you, brother?
Okay, so listen, if you want to get all the juices that come with TikTok and find out more about the TikTok world, you can follow me at Matt_4 to start the from, like we used to do a school letter, from Mississippi. Trust me, when you type in Matt _, everybody say, bro, you the first person to come up no matter where I am in the world. So it ain't gonna be that hard to find. You can definitely follow me on Instagram. These are my two main platforms. Beat Life Matt and Beat Life Motivation. Beat Life spelled just the way it sounds. Beat and life, don't let life beat you. You can follow those two pages. We're putting some new content that we've gathered together that gives you both TikTok tips, that gives you Instagram tips, that gives you daily motivation, that tells you about the conferences. Go to those two. And from there, like I say, go to my link tree. My link tree right now is what I use essentially for like a website where you can find everything me. So, you know, whether it is from conference tickets, whether it is from booking a one-on-one with me, everything you can find there. The more you come around, the more you indulge, the more you find. And you can also find, like I say, your conference tickets and the conference information on those pages. Beat Life Motivation, and once again, Beat Life Matt. Also, it's Beat Life on all other platforms. So YouTube is Beat Life TV, and on Facebook we also have it under Beat Life. So once you look it up, you'll find me in there.
That's what's up. Matt, brother, as always, man, it's a pleasure having you on. It's a pleasure doing business with you, man. And y'all, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. My call to action, make sure you like us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, and then like us and follow us on TikTok. TikTok, we're trying to get the followers up. So make sure, COE Podcast. And then Champion Over Everything on YouTube, COE Podcast on Instagram, and then Champion Over Everything on Facebook. But like, share, subscribe, you know, go out there, follow Matt. And then one other thing I want to say, Matt is doing what's called the unit, and we got some people, some very talented people that are within that group. So as you go out there on our platforms and you follow and like what we're doing, go out there and follow those that we're connected to, because we got some powerful people that are doing some amazing things. And this year is a year of being limitless, removing those boundaries, right? And we're going to continue to bring people on that's going to teach us how to grow together. So that's our time for today. COE, Champion Over Everything.
Get them, y'all.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to COE, Champion Over everything. COE, we holding it down. One.